Why, hello everybody, welcome back to Kat's Tiny Kitchen. You may be wondering what this humongous potato is doing sitting here on my cooking board. We are going to make baked potatoes that are loaded tonight. And we're going to start the potatoes first because it's going to take these guys about an hour to cook because they're so big. But before I bake them, I wanted to show you what I do. I'm going to stab them with a fork. And I do this because if you don't, and you're baking a potato, they can tend to explode in the oven. Not big explode, but enough to make a mess in the oven. So you want to score them with a fork, which we're doing now. And then I'm going to, see, we got enough stabs in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move my tray over. I already have two other ones done. So let me move you back. And hopefully you're focused. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with some olive oil. Get them all nice and sprayed. I love this thing. It's so cool. It's a pump sprayer. Put regular olive oil in there. Just spray everything up. And then what I'm going to do now that I've got them all good and sticky is I'm going to sprinkle some garlic salt on them. Flip them over. Get some on the other side. And they are all ready for the oven. So we will see you in a minute because we'll have to go over the next steps. So we're back for another part of the loaded baked potatoes. I got my pan hot, and yes, this is Gene. And even though he looks dirty, he is very clean, folks. He is very old. He's probably older than I am. This is one of my mom's pans. So I've got 12 ounces of bacon here. We won't use all 12 ounces for the potatoes, but we will use it for something else. So we're getting this all fried up. Got it in the pan. And we will bring you back for the finished product. This bacon is done. So I'm going to get ready to pull it out of here and get it on a paper towel to get it drained a little bit. And yes, folks, I'm going to use that fat. That's good cooking fat right there in that bacon. So give me a couple minutes, we'll be back. We've got a couple cups of water going here in the pan. And I've got about 3 cups, 2.5 to 3 cups of broccoli that we're going to dump in. We're going to get this boiled and get it going and let it sit for about 10-15 minutes after it comes to a boil. And then we're going to move on to the next step, guys, which is the cheese sauce. Hang on, we'll be back. While we're waiting for the broccoli to get done, we're going to start our cheese sauce. So I'm going to start out with a 1/3 cup of butter, which is about 1/3 cup. And we're going to get this stirred. Get it melting. Well, it's melting. I'm going to get my milk ready. Because I want that to melt before I actually put the flour in there. It's getting there. That's nice and melted, so now I'm going to add a third a cup of flour. Let that get all mixed in with the butter. Get it all nice and cooked in. I should have used a whisk, but I didn't want to scratch up this pan. I like this pan, or this saucepan, so I'm not using a whisk. I use my wooden spoon, and it looks like it's thinning down really good. I'll just keep stirring it. Get a couple other ingredients ready here while we're waiting. Which is my cheese. Alright. We're getting good now. It's getting good and the flour's mixing in, so now I just spilled it all over the place. We're going to slowly add in our milk. While that's getting thicker, I'm going to wipe up my mess. You see it thickens up very quickly. And hopefully this milk will be enough for the dish. And it's actually not milk, it's half and half. Full fat, love our full fat. Looks like I might have to pull my whisk out. We'll keep stirring it and we'll see what happens. Yep, get a whisk. This one's a little rubber whisk, so it should be okay. While we're doing this, making messes, I got my broccoli. I just brought my broccoli to a boil, and I just shut the heat off, and I'm going to let that sit for about 10-15 minutes. Got our second cup in here. Second part of our 2 cups, sorry. We'll let this continue cooking. And while we're doing this, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of my salt, pepper, garlic. And it's looking pretty good, so at this point I'm going to turn the heat down. And I'm going to add, just dumping it right out of the bag, folks. I have 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese that I'm going to add to this. And we're going to continue stirring until that melts. And that will be our cheddar cheese sauce for our loaded baked potatoes. Once this all is melted, then it's actually going to be ready. So we'll see in a couple minutes until we get this all melted down. So my cheese sauce is done, and it was awful thick, so I added 1 more cup of half and half to it. If you want to use something that's lower in fat, you can use 2%, but don't use skim because that's way too thin. So all we got left to do now is to put my big old baked potato together. So we'll see in a minute. Okay, my tater's done, and I got it cut open and ready to take my stuff. So So I'm going to add me some broccoli. It looks pretty. And I got some bacon over here that I'm going to throw on it. And the only thing left is some cheese. Get some cheese here. Stir it up a little bit. Ooh, that looks pretty. The only thing left to do is get some sour cream out, take a picture, and eat it up. Thank you all so much for coming along for the ride, and I hope you use this. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Good or bad, I don't care. Thank you again, and God bless you.